right, today is July 7th, 2024, and on July 7th, 2023, exactly 1 year ago, I moved out of my parents' house, away from my family, into this small but beautiful little studio apartment. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts and the things that I learned help some of you who face the same decision whether to move out or not. It's just a few things, that have become clearer to me than they were before when I was still at home. So I noted a few bullet points on my phone right here, and I'm just gonna start with the first one. Your money is really gonna run out very quickly. Like if you're maybe like me and you're studying and you only work part-time or a few side jobs, then you always sort of have this feeling of insecurity or instability, which of course I guess you wouldn't have if you already worked like in a full-time job, career or something and then moved out. But the majority of people here don't do that. Like they move out way before they even have a career in sight, let's just say that. You really have to have an eye on your finances because there are so many things you haven't even thought about needing money for. Like of course there's always groceries and the gas bill and you know your rent, obviously, electricity stuff. But then a washing machine, like I don't even have one, but it would have been really expensive. So yeah, there's all these things coming together that you all of a sudden have to buy or have to regularly buy, like trash bins that you just didn't even think of before. So yeah, you really, if you want to move out or if you already have moved out, you really need to have an eye on your money. A positive thing that I came to notice is that every situation, no matter how bad it is, really is temporary. And you really notice that, all right, I'm here right now and this situation sucks, but it's gonna be over someday. A few months ago, I had problems with a neighbor. I didn't even directly know him or anything, but there was this like mentally ill person in my house, and they would just scream day and night. Like, not always, but every few days, they would like get some sort of screaming attack, and they'd just like throw profanities through the air, and everyone could hear it. And I'm actually surprised nobody else noticed, because I actually wrote an email to the landlord if they knew who this person was and if anyone else noticed it besides me. But they answered me that actually nobody else said anything, and I was like, what the hell? Everyone hears this person. How could they not know, or how could they just not care? But anyways, it's mostly quiet now. Like I know who this guy is now, and I see him from time to time, and he seems to be like all right, I guess. But he's still around, and sometimes there's like a little outburst of something, but it's quiet most of the time. So what I'm really trying to say here is every situation, no matter how bad you think it is temporary, and you just have to stick through it and better things will come. So yeah, that's also something I learned only after moving out. Like I had the same thought before already, but especially this situation made it pretty clear for me. All right, the next thing, it's a negative again. You really have to like have a plan, or you have to make a plan, because you are pretty lonely, like if you live alone, and you're not, you can't reach everybody as easily as you could before. Like when I was still living at home and I was feeling like socializing or like asking my mom a question, I could just open my bedroom door and I was like, Mom, can you help me? Or Mom, can I ask you something? Or sure, I could always call her or call my dad, or I don't know, call a friend or ask them to hang out, but it's, always it's always combined with having a plan. You have to plan things, you have to ask people, you have to make your time worthwhile. And if you don't, like if I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow already today, then I'm almost certain that the next day is gonna be like an unproductive, lazy, time wasting day. So you really have to have an idea already what you're gonna do, who you're gonna call. Sorry. Um, and yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is just even though living alone kind of encourages you to live in the moment more, or living in the moment is actually a good thing, but to live into the day without any plans, it's actually not healthy for you in the long run, because you start to leave yourself hanging easily. And if there's like days where nobody's reachable, like, we all have those kind of days. We feel like maybe we're not in a good mood, we're like angry or depressed, and we just want to like talk to somebody, or I don't know. And then nobody's reachable. Like my parents may be working all day, my grandparents are on vacation, and maybe one of my friends is also on vacation, and the other one's like stressed out, having to study for their exams. And then two of my other friends have already made plans together, and like the other few people don't even pick up the phone. Like it all sounds like bad, but it's just reality. There's days where you just can't reach anybody. On the flip side, this is also a good thing, because if you want to be left alone, you can be. Nobody can force you to like move out of your room. Nobody can force you to like help them with anything. You got your own space. Nobody tells you how to run things in your own space, as long as, of course, you survive with the way you do it, or you want to do it. I guess you just have to really face the decision. Like once you move out, there's no going back. Like, of course, I've heard of people who move back in with their parents for a while, but the end goal is always to get back out there as soon as possible. And basically, once you've moved out, there's no going back, and you have to face a decision eventually, if you like what kind of life you want to live. Do you want to be stuck in this degenerate teenage phase, like be a person who can't get anything done, who's like lazy, sleeping in every day, um, goes out every night just because you have the freedom to do so? Or do you want to be disciplined? Do you want to work on yourself and your future? And do you have it what it takes to pave your own way to a successful life? And that's really like, if you're still at home, you can still sort of work on those things, and you think about it, and actually start on acting, but you always have this pillow on your back, like the pillow of safety from your parents and family's house. And if you moved out, once you're out, you just don't have the same safety network anymore. So it comes down to the decision, which sort of lifestyle do you want to live? Next point, everything takes up more effort. Shopping for groceries, cleaning, laundry, cooking, you probably could have guessed it already. And it's not like I didn't do those things for myself already when I was still living at home. Like I was already somewhat independent back then. But once you move out, you sort of have to do all of those things, and you have to do them regularly. And even shopping for groceries. The next store is like 15 minutes, and I don't have a car, and public transport is sort of like, I could use it, but it's not that good of a connection. So I really have to plan when I shop for groceries. I have to take my big IKEA bag, the blue one, and fill it up and then just carry it home. And it's like really, really exhausting. Like especially if you do it after the gym, which I usually do. Like I go work out and then I combine it with buying groceries because the gym and the store are close by. And you know, if you've already worked out your arms and then you take this IKEA bag full of like, I don't know how much it weighs, like how many kilograms, but it's pretty heavy if you have to carry it like all the way home over 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, that's also, I wouldn't even have thought about that when I was living at home because yeah, I was doing my own grocery shopping, but the store was way closer, and I also didn't need that much because I didn't have to buy everything. The basics were always at home, and yeah, something it really only comes to your mind once you have to do it. All right, last thing, and it's kind of a funny one. It's actually not gonna help with getting girls at all. Like when I was living at home, I was always worried about what if I want to bring someone back home? Like, is my mom gonna be there? Is my whole family gonna see it? Like, you know, all of those questions you ask yourself. You know, moving out, I was thinking, yeah, finally I got a space of my own. Nobody cares. Now I can like bring home 15 different girls in 1 week. I don't know what my expectations were, but to be honest, doesn't really help that much with your confidence whatsoever. Like, I think true confidence comes from within and not from the place you live at. I mean, it's good to have like your own place to come back to, but I wouldn't like put all my cards into that. You know, to bring this video to an end, I think it's all just about, even though I told you some negatives and some positives, I think every bullet point I just told you is sort of a positive bullet point because it's all learning. Like, I think that's the reason why we someday all move out, all start to lead our own lives because we have to learn, we have to grow, we have to grow up and become adults. So, as negative as something may seem, or as bad as something may seem, just know that it's like necessary to develop your own self. That's why to everyone who like may be scared of moving out, I was certainly last year, I encourage you to do it anyways because my thought, like the thought that made me move out eventually was, all right, I got an opportunity right now. If I don't do it now, when will I? Because I'm just gonna be mad at myself that I didn't take the opportunity. So I was just like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna take this apartment. You know, I got it for a good price, a good rent price. Of course, I don't own it. But yeah, just do it, see what the adventure brings. And even though there's going to be some bad times, I think it's going to be worth it. It certainly was worth it for me, and it's going to be worth it for you as well. So don't be scared. And if you are, do it anyways.